Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kesgrave Panthers Podcast. Today, we have the 2017 British champion, Myke Grimes from Coventry. How are you feeling today, Myke?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, Charlie, mainly? Because we didn't see you last.
Thanks.
Oh, that's good.
Sorry about that.
Nah, that's all right. So, we will get started. And Myke, how did you get into cycle speedway?
My dad used to race back in the 70s and late 60s. And when I was growing up as a kid, I used to razz around my garden and I absolutely destroyed my mum's grass. I feel really sorry for my mum at the time. Thinking, as a homeowner now and how much I love my grass, I apologise to my mum. But there was no cycle speedway that I was aware of that like even existed anymore because it wasn't in Coventry when I was younger. And in 2001, Joe McLaughlin started the Coventry Club again, and he got in touch with my dad asking for some help with like equipment or something like that. And I was just like, "Oh, let me have a go, Dad." So yeah, we went down and just sort of took to it like a duck to water, probably I'd say. Obviously, as well as you can do as an inexperienced rider, but I was 16. So really late, but no, I really enjoyed it for about 3 years before sort of I reached that age where lots of riders tend to just drop off, sort of like 20 years old really, and 19, 20, and I went to university down in London. So yeah, that was it really. Just always wanted to do it when I was a kid, and then when the opportunity presented itself, I went for it.
Cool. I think that answered our next two questions. So should we go on to the next section?
Yeah, well, I really want to ask, like, where did you ride your first meeting, if you can remember?
First meeting, I reckon my first meeting was against Leicester at Hersal Common. It was a challenge match, a junior match, and I remember riding with Matthew Lawrence, who still races now as well. I think we're the only surviving members from that 2001 team. But yeah, no, we both left the sport for a bit and then came back. I came back in 2011. So my first match in 2011 was a challenge match away against Birmingham, and Joe McLaughlin again had been in touch asking if I'd donate my old bike to the club because they just started the club up again. And I replied with, actually, I fancy another crack at that, Joe. And next thing I know, I was in the team, the first team against Birmingham, racing against Chris Timms and Paul Hurd in a challenge match. And I did all right. I think I got 15 points, but I remember being sick after my second and the third ride. So yeah, I had two first matches. So yeah, my first one was when I was 16 against Leicester. And I think that went pretty well as well, if I remember. And the first match when I came back was away at Birmingham.
Nice. What's your favourite track?
Well, Hersal Common, of course. Coventry is my favourite track because it's so unique. It's got one really banked bend, and the other bend is banked by normal standards as well, to be fair. But it's so wide and fast. There's passing opportunities sort of everywhere. So it's a really varied track. Outside of Cov, I'd probably say the Graves in Sheffield. I really like that track. It's got quite long straights but quite tight bends. So again, it's quite technical, and I really enjoyed riding there in the Elite League back in 2014. I only got 1 year there, I think, until we moved to Cookson Park because they developed the Grave site. But pleasing to see that they're back there now, and I'm looking forward to going up there at some point, hopefully, and having another blast around the Graves.
Yeah, I think we rode at Coventry the other years. But yeah, it was a really nice track from what I can remember. So
the Covent.
Yeah, you came up to Coverley, didn't you, Charlie?
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, good fun that was. But it's the only problem we have really is it's just in the middle of a field, and there's no, there's nothing else there. So there's no toilets. There's we've got a couple of containers and that's about it. So it's hard to develop. And we were going to move to a new track, but unfortunately that fell through. So there we go.
Yeah. So would you say you have a least favourite track, or do you like just have a way of dealing with the ones you don't prefer as much? It's like Coventry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think everyone's got like a little hierarchy of the tracks that they like, don't they? But it's more the track conditions I don't like. But to be honest, I've tried. I was never a fan of dry, dusty tracks because I'm quite all about speed, really. I've always been fast, so I like to just get away. Although now I'm getting older and probably slower, I've got to adjust my riding style these days anyway. But so yeah, I've been trying to get to grips with more dry, dusty tracks, and I've worked so hard in the last 12 months on my cornering. And thankfully it's starting to stick now. Like the muscle memory is really coming in. So I like a challenge at any of them really. If I had to choose a least favourite track, probably Birmingham. More so the fact that you've always got somebody like Chris Timms or Hurdy or Ricky Johnson or Scott Millwood or just breathing down your neck. Whenever you go there. And Leicester as well. Leicester's quite a formidable place to go. We've had some good matches there, but I've also had some bad matches there. So yeah, Leicester's been a mixed bag really too. So I'll say Birmingham and Leicester if I had to choose. But yeah, I'll race on it. I'll race anywhere really.
What's your favourite pre-meeting meal?
Ooh. Definitely not something like pizza, because I always ride terrible if I had a pizza the night before. I don't know, something nutritious probably. Vegetables with some rice and something like that. Something that's quite easy to digest and doesn't sit too hard on the stomach. Even the next day, I find, like I say, if I had a pizza, I find I'm really quite lethargic the next day. But diet is the hardest part of racing for me. Never really been able to put my finger on what I should do, what I should eat before a match. Before the British Championship in 2017, when I won, I had the biggest bowl of porridge you've ever seen, and that's all I ate the whole day. Although I tell a lie, actually, I had a protein shake as well for some reason. I don't know why. At about 11 o'clock. The final was at 4, I think, 3 o'clock actually. So yeah, a massive bowl of porridge. Did the job that day. Tried it again, didn't work. So.
Oh yeah. I was gonna. I might have tried that, or well, I don't really eat porridge, but might have got Luca to try that. But
yeah, well, it sits quite well, and it's like a sort of a slow burner in terms of the energy release. So it kind of does work. But yeah. I've had porridge before, and my legs are still felt dreadful. So just like that.
Yeah. Would you say you have like a most memorable moment in Cycle Speedway?
Most memorable moment. There's two I can probably think of off the top of my head. The first one would be my first gate in that 2017 final. I was on grid 4, had Ashley Hill on grid 3, Lewis Osborne grid 2, and Josh Brook on grid 1. And I knew I had to get points out of that race if I was going to win the match, because everybody had a pretty good draw. I had a really good draw except for that race. My grid 4 could have been kinder, but I was just so fired up from sort of what had happened the previous year down in Exeter that I think I didn't really get much sleep the night before because I was just always visualising this gate that I was going to make, and yeah, the tapes went up and I just went. And I don't know. I was sort of in the zone really, and yeah, I just cleaned all of them from grid 4 at Wensfield, which is not done very often. Certainly not against riders like those guys. So yeah, that would probably be my best moment. But yeah, off the sort of in a racing context as well, there was one. It's the last heat decider against the South East in the Battle of Britain at Coventry, Hersal Common, and I managed to fall off. So we needed a 7-3, to win. And I think Ricky Johnson was on 1, I was on 3. There's a video of it on Facebook, and I gated round from 3, but Ricky was blowing hard and he was begging me to let him back round, so I had to let him back round coming onto the second lap. So I had Lewis, Osborne and Ashley Hill again behind me, and they were coming at me from all angles. And the track, it was 2018, I think. What was that? 2018, I think. And it was when we had no rain for about 3 months. So the track was dry as a bone, and it was just really slippy. And I've gone into one bend trying to defend from Ashley, and I just washed out. But somehow, I don't know how I did it, I managed to fall off, get back on the bike, and stay in front of Lewis, even though I'd fallen off. And then coming out of the bend, so this was going into the last lap, coming out of the bend, I'd managed to pull a line under Ash and get under him to get back into second place after falling off on the lap before. And then Ash drove it in, which pushed me a little bit wide. Meanwhile, Lewis had gone wide and come for the drop going to the line, and then me and Lewis had a race to the line, and he beat me by millimeters. So we lost the match, but I almost pulled it off, and it was a great race. Check it out on Facebook. It was good. I think it's on the 3218 news page. But that was probably one of my favourite races that I've been in.
So is there a rule that you disagree with in Cycle Speedway that you'd want to be changed?
Not necessarily a rule I disagree with, but what really annoys me from a watching perspective, and also from a rider's perspective, is how long people take at the start. And I think, obviously you got a minute to get to the tapes, but then you could wait a few minutes for certain people, I'm naming no names, to hurry the hell up and get ready for the race. So what we actually tried at Cov, and it worked really well, was it was a 60 minutes to starters orders. It was completely automated. So when the referee blows the whistle, you got 60 seconds until all the riders are under orders, whether you're ready or not. So you got obviously get around to the tapes, get yourself set up. You get a warning, so you get 40 seconds, 30 seconds left, 20 seconds, 10 seconds left, 5 seconds left. And then after that 5 seconds, it automatically says you're under starters orders, and then the tapes go up between 2 and 5 seconds. So it's a little bit more like a mountain bike start. That's one thing I'd like to see, because like I say, just some people try and play a few mind games on the start line. Never works for me, to be honest. I just sit there, wait for them to piss around, and once they're ready, I'm good to go. So, but that would probably be one thing I would change if I could.
Yeah, we might have to try that down at Kesgrave one time. Sounds like quite a good idea. But
it's a great idea for British Youth and Junior matches, stuff like that. When you got those massive days to get through, and you just need to plow on through it. The referee blows the whistle, and in 60 seconds that race is starting. And if you ain't ready, then you either get disqualified or you miss your gate. So tough.
I think time to go into our quick fire round. So we'll blast you with 5, 10, whatever questions, and so we'll start off with, what's your favourite sports team?
Favourite sports team? Coventry City Football Club. And Coventry Sabres Cycle Speedway Club, of course. And Caldecott Arms.
Favourite book?
Favourite book? Jesus. Favourite book? Now you're testing me. Haven't read a book for a long time. I just haven't got time. I've got too many kids. Hang on, let me consult them all. I would say out of that lot there, my favourite book would be Bill Bryson's A Short History of Nearly Everything. Great book.
Read that before.
Do you have a favourite colour?
Blue.
Do you have a favourite meal?
Pizza. Just not before a race.
Yeah. Do you have a favourite pizza topping?
Yeah, it's called the Myke Special. It's chicken, pepperoni, green peppers, and sweet corn. Can't go wrong.
Do you have a favourite animal?
Well, I have a favourite animal. I don't know actually. Maybe like a duck or something, because small but mighty and they can fly a bit. So,
if you won the lottery, what's the first thing you'd buy?
pay my mortgage off. Apart from that, what would I buy? I don't actually know. Sort of, I don't want for a lot, to be honest. Material things aren't really what I'm into. So, I don't know.
Just pay the mortgage off.
Pay the mortgage off. Go on holiday. There you go. That's what I do.
Where would you go on holiday?
Oh, geez. What if I just win the lottery?
Yeah.
Can I go everywhere? And just go on like a...
anywhere you want.
No, but as in, can I go everywhere at the same time? Just I'll just travel the world. Don't need to work anymore. Just go around the world. It's fine. I want to go to Japan. I want to go back to Australia. Go see Bobby McMillan over there in Australia. Go back to America. To sort of see all of America and Canada and whatnot. So just everywhere.
Fair enough. What was your first car?
My first car, wow, it was a Ford Mark 1 Fiesta. It was like a shed on wheels, a metal shed on wheels. But you know what? It was really annoying because I got the Mickey taken out of me at school for that. I was the first person to pass my test in my year at sixth form. So I was the only one who could drive at this point. Yeah, I still got the Mickey taken out of me because I was driving this shed. But then within about 5 years, because the car was so old, it suddenly became retro and quite cool to have. So I was really quite aggrieved at the fact that I didn't have this car anymore. And now it was all of a sudden cool, whereas I got the Mickey taken out of me for driving around it. But it smelled amazing. It was like when it used I'm not sure what the oil was, but it smelled like a proper old school car as well. So.
What's your favourite car?
My favourite car? Don't know. I'm not massively into cars. Can I say a Formula One car? I like Formula One cars. Yeah. I'll say the Mercedes W11. There you go. Formula One car.
Yeah, I reckon that's enough of that, and we will ask. So so how did you actually get into your 3318 stuff with all your designing and stuff like that?
Designing. It's a good question, that is, actually. So I kind of have done graphic design for many, many years. And Joe McLaughlin again, we needed a new kit. So I said, let me have a crack. So I designed the top, came out pretty bad, if I must say. So then a couple of seasons later, I had another go at it and it was pretty good. Those tops are still knocking around, the first ones that I did. Not the first one. The first one was rubbish. We got rid of that quite quick, but the second one was really good. And so I did that, and then it was Timsy asked me to do Birmingham's one, and then I ended up doing a Swindon one, and then a Leicester one, and then that was it really. People just started asking me to do them, and I thought, I could actually do this. I'm getting quite good at it, and just kept practicing, because I think you always get better at that stuff. And I think if you don't look back at like your old stuff like a few years later and go, oh, that's pretty rubbish actually, I think you haven't actually moved forward. So, but I don't think I've done anything massively bad. There's nothing that looks like Minecraft or anything like that. But I think I'm constantly improving with it, but I really enjoy doing it as well. So,
was it you designed the first shirt?
The commentary one?
Yeah,
I did that. It's like I say, there's a few of them knocking around somewhere, but
Well, when did you do it?
2013 was the first one I did. Yeah, So just sort of built up since then.
Yeah. Would you say you have like any advice for anybody who might be like wanting to do something like that, start up with any sort of business or anything?
Yeah. Advice would be do it while you're younger. So starting to do that after I had a mortgage and family and kids was quite tough. But if I'd started it earlier while I was living at home still with my parents, it would have given me that extra bit of freedom maybe, and maybe I could have made it my full-time job at one point. But then I quite like where I work. I work at a school in IT, so in graphic design there as well. So it's quite nice to have both. It's just a lot of work, I suppose. But apart from that, my main advice would be just keep practicing, keep working on your skills, because there's always room for improvement. And you got to have a bit of a thick skin at times. You got to be able to deal with arseholes, frankly. Some people will try and take the mick, and at those times you just kind of, my son's crying. And those times you just got to kind of let it be water off a duck's back almost, and not take it too personally. Business is business at the end of the day, so don't be sensitive.
What would you say was like the biggest project or shirt that you've worked on?
Biggest one I've done. Wow. Can I just come back to that question in 1 second? Hang on, let me see what it was. Sorry.
I do. I thought that was Luca.
No, shouldn't be, unless Dad's absolutely smashing him at FIFA. Yeah.
Presume it's in the cupboard. I'll be obsessed. Yeah. Cheers. Right. Hopefully he won't do that again. He probably will though. He just woke up from a bloody nap at 4:30. We're going to pay for that later. And what was the question again?
What's like the biggest project or shirt that you've worked on?
Trying to think now. The Battle of Britain ones were quite big, because they sort of got everywhere and whatnot. There was quite a high pressure one. I can't even think of what it was now. There's one that I just had to get absolutely bang on. So yeah, I'll just say the Battle of Britain tops, because I sponsored the Midlands team with them as well, and so I didn't for cost price for everybody. Because I just wanted the sport to look good. That was always my main aim when I started doing this, was to just make the image of the sport better, because when I came back in 2011, people were still wearing football tops and or just terrible tops. There was a few good ones out there, but I just wanted to spruce up the image a bit. So that was my main aims.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite shirt that you've designed?
A new Coventry one, which nobody has seen yet, is my favourite shirt. It looks really pleased with it. So yeah, you have to wait and see for that one.
Yeah. I think that's quite a good way to end on today. So just say thank you for being here, Myke.
No, thank you for having us, guys. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And thank you for joining me again, Charlie.
Thank you, Noah.
We'll see everyone next time.